So hopefully you're having a good week 2 of our e-learning. Today I'm actually going to try to do something a little different. So this is software that I'm going to use. I think it'll be a little better, a little more interactive than me just writing on a Word document. So today we're going to be looking at one-step equations. We've looked at it just a little bit over the year in our weekly reviews. So today with one-step equations, there's 4 main steps that you have to know and have to be able to do. The first step is I want you to draw a wall in between the equation. Okay, so we'll look at that, but you want to make sure that you're drawing a wall. It's separating the equation on the equal sign. Okay, the next step, what you're going to do is you're going to draw a box around the variable, because that's going to tell me that's what I want by itself, because that leads me into my third step. So the third step is actually isolating the variable, getting the variable by itself, being able to cancel out whatever's on the side the variable's on. And so that way the variable is all alone. Remember, we always say variables are the loneliest numbers, letters, whatever you want to call them in math. Okay, and then obviously the last step that we're going to do, whatever you do to one side of equation, you have to do to the other side, or it's not going to be true. So the last step is balancing that equation. So we're going to make sure we do that last, so that way we can get a true statement for what the variable equals. So now we're going to look at the first 2 examples. So I'm going to do an example with an addition problem, and then I'm going to do an example with a subtraction problem. So here's our addition problem. So I'm going to have x, let's erase that, let's not use yellow. So I'm going to have x plus 12 equals 14. Okay, so a lot of us can look at this problem and be like, oh, I know exactly what the answer is, but I want you to follow those 4 steps. So the first step I said was to actually draw a line or a wall, creating a separation between the 2 sides of the equation. So once we do that, next step is to actually draw a box around our variable, because that's what we want to be able to get by itself. Okay. Third step was to isolate the variable. But to isolate the variable, I have to be able to get the plus 12 to cancel out. So think about it. The inverse operation of addition is subtraction. So I would subtract 12 from this side, because that's actually going to cancel out that part of it. After I do that, remember, 4th step is to balance the equation. Whatever you do on one side of this wall, you actually have to do on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 12 from the other side of the equation. So now I'm left with just x over here. And then I can do, what's 14 minus 12? Well, 14 minus 12 is 2. So now I know that x equals 2. Okay, there's the first example. That's addition. Okay, so now we're going to go on to our subtraction problem. So if we look at our subtraction problem, let's go with x minus 7 equals 13. So remember our steps. First step was to build our wall, right? Create a wall to separate this side, okay, our x minus 7, with the side that equals 13, because one side should always be equal to the other side. Okay, so now I also need to go in and put a box around my variable. After I put a box, right, we know that's what we want to be able to get by itself. So I have to get a minus 7, subtraction of 7, canceled out. So to do that, I'm going to do the inverse operation of adding 7 to this side. Because if I have minus 7 and I have plus 7, that's going to cancel out to 0. But then I have to go do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to add 7 over here. X is left by itself because we canceled our 7's out. And then I'm going to take 13 plus 7, and I'm going to get 20. So x equals 20. I can go check both of these problems, by actually taking and substituting in the 2. So I'm going to take 2 plus 12 equals 14. Is that true? Yeah. So I did the addition problem right. Now let's look at our subtraction problem. I'm going to substitute 20 in. So 20 minus 7 equals 13. Is that true? Yeah, exactly, right? That's true too. So we did both of those problems correctly. So now let's look at the next two examples. We're going to do a multiplication problem and we're going to do a division problem. So if I look at these next two, okay, I'm going to do multiplication. So let's say 6x equals 42. So if we have 6x equals 42, remember our steps, right? We're going to build a wall, separate the equation into two parts. Okay, after that, I want to be able to get my variable x by itself. So if I do that, okay, remember that's multiplication. Now I have to do the inverse of that, which would be division. So I would divide by what? 6. Because multiplying by 6 and dividing by 6 is going to get both of those to cancel out. And I'm going to be left with just my variable x on this side. But I have to do whatever I do to one side, I have to also do to the other. So now I have to go over here and divide by 6. 42 divided by 6 gives me 7. So then x equals 7. If I go back and check, 6 times 7 equals 42. That's true. So now let's look at one more example. Our last example of the day is going to be a division problem. So if I look at my division problem, okay, I'm going to write it as a fraction because you guys all have to understand to write it as a fraction. So let's go with y this time. So y divided by 4 equals 12. So now I have division. I'm going to build my wall. I'm going to try and get my variable y by itself this time. So the inverse of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 4 because dividing by 4 and multiplying by 4 will cancel it out. And then I'm left with y. Now I'm going to go over to the other side. I'm going to multiply by 4 because I multiplied by 4 over here. So now I have to multiply by 4 over here. Well, now I know 12 times 4 is 48. So y equals 48. If I go back and check really quickly, I can do this by taking 48 in place of y divided by 4 equals 12. Well, 48 divided by 4 is 12, so that's also true. Okay, so just remember, step by step by step. If you need to go back, look at these examples, look at these examples. Okay, now we're going to look at what we're doing on the next activity. So make sure you come with me. Make sure you get your packet out that you have, the one-step equation packet. You guys should have it in the folders. Okay, grab that and let's look at this next part. Okay, so this is just one of our first pages of these. Okay, you're going to have 3 pages of this packet to complete for today. So this is a maze. So it's a one-step equation maze. So I'm going to help you start it and then you're going to finish it. Okay, I want you to get used to writing step by step underneath it. I know a lot of you think you're such brilliant people that you can do it without writing it down. Okay, don't. Even if you're smart enough to, that's okay, but don't do it. Please make sure you understand the steps that we're doing. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take this, you're going to start at the start. You want to figure out the right path to be able to get to the end. So I have an addition problem. So 28 equals 8 plus v. So I need to get v by itself. So I'm going to build my wall. Okay, I need to get v isolated. So to be able to do that, there's an imaginary addition sign in front of this. So I'm going to subtract 8 because that's going to cancel those two out. And then I'm going to go over here and subtract 8. So what's 26 minus 8? Right, exactly, 18. So v equals 18, which is this pathway right here. So what you want to do is, if you looked at the directions, it says solve each equation, then use your solutions to navigate through the puzzle. So I'm going to color in this pathway because we used 18. Now I'm going to go on to this problem. 15 plus b equals 23. Well, it's addition, so I have to be able to cancel this out. There's an invisible addition sign in front of this, so I have to take minus 15. And then whatever I do that side, okay, that cancels out. I also have to do the other side. So I'm going to subtract 15 from the other side. So I'm left with b equals 8. Is there an 8 pathway? Yeah, exactly right here. Okay, here's my 8 pathway. So then I would go and I would solve this box right here and continue all the way through till I get to the end. Okay, remember your main goal is you want to get till the end. Okay, so solve it through. You don't have to do all of the problems, just the problems that have the pathway to the end. Okay, so hopefully you guys understand that. That's the first page of what you're doing today. Okay, so here's our second practice page of the day. It's a one-step equation riddle. So now we actually have to solve the riddle. It says, where do pencils go on vacation? So now you actually do have to solve all of these boxes. So I'm just going to show you a couple. We just did addition problems. I'm not going to do addition on this one. Let's go over here and look at this box right here. Box L. So it's y divided by 3. So if I build my wall, okay, I separate the equation. If I'm dividing by 3, the inverse operation is to multiply by 3 over here to get those to cancel out. And then after I do that, I'm left with y equals, and then I have to go divide by 3 over here. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So then that is my answer. So then what I'm going to do is, wherever I see a 4 up at the top, okay, I'm going to go place the letter up there. Okay, do I see a 4? No, so let's just wait. Okay. So now let's look at the next question. So we already said the y equals 4. Okay, so let's go look at another question. Let's do this one right here, V. Okay, 95 equals 5k. Well, remember that 5k, that means multiplication. So after I build my wall, okay, I'm going to divide by 5 to both sides. And then after I divide by 5, I'm left with k over here. And then over here, I'm taking 95 divided by 5. Well, I'm going to do scratch math, okay, because I'm not crazy smart about that. So 95 divided by 5, it can go into it once. Subtract 5, you're left with 4. I skipped ahead there. Okay, after I do that, I bring it down. 5 can go into 45 9 times. So the answer is 19. So k equals 19. Is there a 19 up there? Yeah, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my v and I'm going to put it up there. Okay, so I just did 2 problems with you. See if you can do the rest of them. You should get a funny little riddle at where pencils go on vacation. That is page 2 of what you're doing today. Now let's go look at page 3. Okay, here's our last page for the day. So this is one-step equations coloring page. I wanted to make it a little fun for you. So hopefully you have your colored pencils, crayons, markers, whatever you have at home. Make sure you have those out. So if we look at this, okay, it says solve each problem, find your answer in one of the 3 answer boxes below the problem, then find the number on the picture and color each section with the number that corresponds with your answer. So there's going to be multiple sections that you're going to be coloring in those specific colors. So make sure you find all of the answers because there's multiple answers, okay? And there's multiple parts that have the same answer. So you're going to be doing multiple parts with the same answer and coloring those in all the same color. So let's look at, I'm going to skip around. Let's look at let's go number 4. So if I look at number 4, okay, I have m divided by 3. Well, I need to get m by itself, so I need to multiply by 3 to cancel that out, and I'm left with m. It's a horrible m, I'm sorry. So now whatever I do on one side of the equation, I have to do the other. So I'm going to multiply by 3. 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, so m equals 27. If you look down here, I'm going to use this box. I'm going to go find all of the numbers and all of the parts that are labeled 27, and I'm going to color those in blue. Okay, so if I color all of the parts in blue, okay, it's kind of hard to sometimes see the 27. Some of it you might not even color all the time either. Okay, like this, there is no 27. So you're not going to color anything in for that. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, so let's look here. Let's do number 5. So I have an addition problem. So I'm going to subtract 5 to cancel those out. I'm going to subtract 5 over here, and I'm left with m. So 83 minus 5 is 78. So I have these shaded in here. I'm going to color those in blue. Okay, does anybody see a 78? No, me either. Okay, so we're not going to use that. So then you're going to go to the next one. Let's do number 3. Okay, so number 3 is a multiplication problem. So I'm going to divide by 4 to cancel those out. And then I'm going to go over here and divide by 4. And I'm left with r equals, well, what's 36 divided by 4? Yeah, you get 9. So r equals 9. I'm going to circle that box in. Look at that, we finally get to color something in. So I'm going to color his eyelids blue. Some of you are like, well, that's weird, his eyelids are blue. So I'm going to go in and shade all of the ones that are labeled 9 blue. You see some more over here. Okay, some more over here. So you're just going to go through and find, oh, there's some down here. Some over here. Okay, so then you're going to go in and shade those. So finish the rest of those problems on your own. And then after you do that, you're done for today. Okay, what I want you to do is send me a picture of each page. You could either do it through Remind or Teams, and then you're done for today. Lastly, I just want you guys to know, okay, I'm here to support you. All of your other teachers are here to support you. I know even college students have a hard time doing e-learning, but number one, okay, please make sure you're actually devoting time to doing your schoolwork. I know we could just rush through it in an hour, say we got it done, but really think about it, okay? Are you learning? You want to ask yourself, are you actually learning, gaining the material? Because you guys are going to have to use this stuff next year. And the more you put time into it now, I promise next year's material will be super easy. You guys will understand it, and then you guys will have a very successful year. Okay, please remember that. I hope you guys know I miss you. Thinking about you guys at home. Enjoy the rest of your day. Mr. Mefford's out.